Good morning, everyone. So today we will discuss the Ritzer Statement of 2015 that the globalization is a transplanetary process or a set of processes involving increasing liquidity and the growing multidirectional flows of people, object, places, and information, as well as the structures they encounter and create that are barrier to or expedite those flows. So in contemporary world, it means this is the modern world we are living. Current world that we are celebrating and enjoying. So, as we discuss contemporary world, we better understand this topic by conceptualizing what is globalization. So later we will understand the definition of Ritzer, the statement that has shown. So let us try to analyze later the underlined words. So let us go first by conceptualizing how do we deal the process of globalization. As you can see, we have three. First is creating people. Creating what we call transnational. What does it mean? So it means transnational is a process that interconnect individuals and social groups. So this individual, it represents me. It represents you. So creating transnational is interconnecting of individual and social group despite of every differences of every culture, and these differences is the culture, what we call tradition, language, and many more. So when we create individuals, now we transform individuals and we create social groups of communities. Therefore, we are now creating transnationality. Transnationality, it is the rise of the new community and formation of new social identities of our today's world. So remember, when we create individual, we create transnational, and when this individual create the new communities and new norm, it is already creating transnationality, which is the community or the social norms. So upon creating transnational up until transnationality, we are now creating new social condition, meaning to say we already create or new social community, new social norm, new culture and tradition, of which what we call the globality. So there are two meaning of the globality. It means omnipresence of the process of globalization and signifies social condition. So globality is the last process of conceptualizing the globalization. Alright. So now we will go back to the Ritzer statement as it's shown on the presentation. So, to better understand it or to deepen our understanding in regards to the statement of Ritzer of 2015, we will use metaphors. So, what is metaphor? Going back to your basic English, metaphor is a substitute to the words or definition of things like simile, hyperbole, etc. So let's try to deepen our understanding about metaphors. So in order to explain the statement, we will use the metaphors. Alright. The metaphors of globalization. We have here the flows of the metaphors of globalization. We have here the solidity, liquidity, heavy, and light. Okay, let's first tackle the solidity. It means people, things, information, and rules harden over time, and therefore it has a limited mobility. So, going back, let's describe what is solidity. Going back to your chemistry subject, the atom, okay? Imagine that the globalization is atom or any connection of globalization, imagine niyo siya si atom, okay? Are already compact and cannot easily move. It has a limited mobility. Like in our globalization, we cannot easily move because there is what we call barriers or what we call burden. So, kagaya lang yan sa mga tao. Okay, example. Pag kayo ba ay may isang daladalang problema, pasakit, or burden, yun yung tinatawag na barrier. Mabilis ba tayong makakakilos? Productive ba tayo? O progressive ba yung buhay natin? Hindi, kasi may dala-dala tayong burden na tinatamasa, whether it's physical, emotional, psychological condition, or whatsoever na tinatahak nating burden, it is considered as solidity. Okay? Perfect example din yun siya for globalization na solidity. Alright. Always remember, when it comes to solidity, it has a barrier. Harden over time. Solid, it is hard. May solid bang hindi mahahawakan? Solid means mahahawakan because the atom is compact. Alright, now let's move on to liquidity. It means the increasing of ease of movement of people, things, information, and places in the global age. Okay. Atom. Okay, let's go back again to your chemistry or basic science. Atoms are free flowing. Therefore, they are free from any direction. So, in contemporary world, liquidity means we are the people. Okay? So, hindi tayo atom kasi sa globalization na tayo. But people, things, information, and places has an increase of free flowing. So, therefore, liquidity, walang barrier, walang burden, free from flowing in any of the direction. Whatever connects in the globalization, pag may liquidity, free from flowing, therefore, no burdens or without burdens. Now, if we have solidity and liquidity, we have also the heavy. It means difficult to move. Therefore, heavy has a burden or with burden, with problems. And heavy is siya ang parang kapareho ni solidity. Okay, so when we have heavy, we already have light. So, siya ang kapareho ni liquidity. Si light naman, easier to move without barrier. Alright. So, these four metaphors of globalization, the solidity, liquidity, heavy, and light, this is what we call the flaws of globalization. So, let's tackle flaws. So, flaws, it is the movement of people, things, information, and places, and due in part to the increasing porosity of global barriers. Alright, so in order to understand what is flows, what is flows? Can you see the picture on the presentation? So it is very simple. It is the evolution of communication. At the same time, it represents the metaphor of globalization and the flows of globalization. On the first part, what can you see? So we have a human or a person na sunog, something burning. Alright? In ancient time, the way we communicate to other communities or other groups is by signaling them. Okay? Send signal. Okay, for example, sa tribo ni Juan ay nanganganib. Then, ang tribo ni Pedro ay nasa kabilang ibayo pa. So, in order to signal the other group, that person or one representative will have to cause signal or fire or creating a smoke in order to signal them or to send message. Then, kung ang kabilang grupo is makita yung smoke na yun as a signal, as a message, doon sila tipong maaalarma na something happens or something going on sa kabilang tribo. We better get ready. Kasi nga, yun ang pang-signal nila sa isa't isa. Yun ang message. Alright. Next, the second person. As you can see, nag-i-evolve siya. Alright? Before natin itackle si pangalawang tao, so, this first person na nag-signal ng smoke, it is a very, very good example for solidity. Why? Paano kung walang makapansin? Or kung mapansin man siya, matatagalan ng responde. Kasi nasa malayong ibayo pa. No. Nasa malayong ibayo pa at hindi nila alam kung anong message ang nandun. It's either they are endangered, they are in need, or other message pa yun na isi-send. Solidity kasi may barrier. Hanggang dun lang ang magagawa nila kasi nga may barrier. Okay? Kaya yung communication nila, one way of communicating is to send fire or send signal or mag-create sila ng smoke. And it is perfect example for solidity. Now, let's move on to second person. The way of communication, as the time goes by, nagbabago the ways lang mag-communicate. They already use ibon or bird to send signal. In case, it is a perfect example kay light. Bakit light? Kasi pagsusulat ka lang ng message and then paliparin mo. Then, ang sagot sa'yo, magsusulat din siya, paliparin mo. So, mas mapabilis. Mapapabilis yung communication. Sending and receiving a message, mapapabilis. Therefore, etong pangalawang person is perfect example din kay liquidity. Free-flowing. Kasi si bird itself, may pakpak, pwede siya kahit saan. Pwede mo siyang isend kahit sa malayo. Right? It is free-flowing. Alright, walang barrier. Maliban na lang kung mamamatay yung bird on the way sa paghatid ng message. Now, let's talk about the third person. So, as you can see, computer. Okay, it is one way or the other in receiving and sending a message. Pero itong perfect example din kay heavy. What do we mean? Literal, heavy naman talaga kasi si computer. Hindi mo naman siya pwedeng isaksak kasi magsisend ka lang ng message or gusto mo makareceive ng message. Daladalahin mo yan sa school or daladalahin mo yan siya sa CR kasi may gusto kang i-communicate or may gusto kang i-send na message or may gusto kang basahin na message. So, it is considered also as solidity. Why? May barrier lang siya. What if mag-brown out? What if sa lugar mismo na yun, walang electricity. Therefore, hindi mo siya magagamit as way of communication. Next, it is laptop. Sa fourth one, laptop. On this fourth person, it represents liquidity and solidity. Liquidity and light. Why? Kasi nag-i-evolve na siya. Anywhere, any place, you can receive and send a message na light siya kaysa kay computer. Okay? So, free-flowing from any directional kasi pwede mo siyang madala. Easy to use, easy to open, kahit walang electricity or mag-brown out man, naka-charge ka, pwede ka makasend and receive a message. Now, on the last picture, this is a perfect example pa rin kay light and liquidity. Why? Pero perfect example din siya kay heavy and solidity. So let's tackle first the light and liquidity. Why? Mas magaan siya kaysa kay laptop and computer, and also mas gamit siya kaysa sa creating a smoke or sending a bird sa isang tao. Why? Kung may load ka, one text away, one call away, you can send, you can receive a message. Now, nasa pocket lang. Easy to carry, very light, no burden at all. Now, on the another side, it is a perfect example also for heavy and solid. Why? What if nalobat ka at wala kang dalang charger? It is heavy kasi nga wala siyang silbi, nasa bulsa mo lang. Okay? It is heavy kasi nga wala kang load. May cellphone ka nga, wala ka namang load. O, diba? Heavy yan sa bulsa. At the same time, is, lang siya, may barrier. You can receive a message, but you cannot send a message kung wala kang load at all. So, the last person is a perfect example for both flows of globalization, or what we call the metaphors of globalization. Alright. Is that clear, guys? Okay. Do you have a question? So, let's see each other if you have a question, clarification, violent reaction on our topic for today. So, we'll discuss on the next one. Okay? I hope you learned something from me today. I hope you stay well and stay safe. Everyone, have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.